ladies, gentlemen, and gamers of all kinds. Welcome back to another Patch Note video, where I review the oh-so-wonderful changes Riot decides to put into this oh-so-lovely game. Now, I'd be remiss not to say I just woke up, as usual. But I just woke up. And I saw something on the PBE on Surrender 20 that kind of disgusted me. But we'll get into that later in the video. So one thing I'm really sad about is there's no event. You know, the Pulsefire event ended. The little high noon event they had without a pass, I did pretty quickly. And there's no event. And I think people are pretty mixed on the events, at the very least. You know, with the passes and the tokens and whatnot. But me personally, I really enjoy them, and I really like them. And I wish there was always an event with a pass going on, so that way I always got tokens. I need to be incentivized to play this game. And because of that, these patch note opinions might not be the most updated ones, because I haven't played as much League as I usually would have. Probably for the next patch, is more importantly, because, like I just said, there's no pass coming through. But we just got finished with the pass. So, I haven't been playing as much over the last couple days, but before that, I was playing multiple times a day. But anyway, we're still in quarantine. I'm bored as fuck, so let's see what's going on. Hi. It's heating up outside. We've got a pretty chill patch for you. Oh boy, they usually are. What time I see? This patch is mostly about reacting to balance outliers. So is basically every other patch you've implemented, aside from the stupid AD changes, which did nothing, which I will keep saying. So here we're after making the rounds. Yordles, okay. Syndra, Mage, Cat. Oh no, they're touching Yumi again. They're touching runes again. And they've bought some love to Kog'Maw and Nunu. Interesting. Okay. I don't know a lot of what's going on. Oh look, they nerfed Aphelios again. Guess what they're gonna do next patch? Nerf Aphelios again. It's so stupid. Anyway, new skins. Pool Party has come back. And I'm glad to say we got a lot of new pictures from these skins. But besides that, we have Syndra, which I think is pretty good skin. On the tier of Star Guardian, so ties for her best skin. Heimerdinger, definitely a step below, or maybe kind of near Dragon Trainer. I feel Dragon Trainer is a little better because of the theme. But Heimerdinger's skin has a lot of cool effects. Very blue, you know, similar to his base. But very Pool Party-esque, obviously. Pretty nice. Jarvan, I haven't really seen. So I'm going to just say that one is probably maybe one of the worst of the bunch. Pool Party Ori didn't really wow me. I really like Darkstar better. So that skin was whatever. I didn't really care for it. The effects are okay. But they didn't wow me as much as Darkstar. The colors. And Talia finally gets a skin. So Agent's probably going to be on this shit. So I actually might play it with him. Talia skin, however, it's okay. I mean, I feel like she doesn't really have a good, really good skin yet. I mean, it's decent. It's new, which is the biggest thing, but I feel like it's whatever. Who the fuck is this? I haven't muted. Let's see who it is.
Hi, this is Trish, and I'm an employment specialist on a...
Okay, I could barely even hear that, and they just hung up on me. Okay, they always do that. Fine. Stupid telemarketers. So, I usually fuck with them, but not now. I'm too lazy. Anyway. When is this coming out? I forgot. Let me check Surrender 20. When does it say it's coming out? Okay, so it's scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, June 24th, because today's Tuesday, the 23rd. So that's fine. So anyway, yeah. Decent skins. I think the Syndra and Heimer are the best ones. Talia's, like, okay by default, just because she doesn't get skins. Ori's lackluster. Jarvan's probably lackluster too. Okay. So, Aphelios. Oh boy, where to begin with him. He has been an issue, to put it lightly. Now, it's kind of like, in my opinion, what happens with a champion when they're released versus how we see them after. So, when Aphelios released, right, looking at him from his release to now, he has undergone so many nerfs and they've taken so many things away that I would argue comparatively on his release, he was such just a definitively better champion. Hands down. Hands down, he was a definitively better champion. And I said this recently too, when I was playing League at one point, that all these little stupid clarity changes that they did, because, oh, I don't understand Aphelios, oh, what is his passive, oh my god, how does he work? So them showing you the little clarity changes of, oh, this is what his ult does, and, well, not really that, but, oh, this is what gun he has next and whatever. It's like, it didn't do anything. It really didn't. If you didn't understand him before, you weren't going to understand him after. I mean, yeah, it is nice that you can see what gun he's going to get next and has, like, on reserve. But it's like, it didn't solve the problem of him being a problem. It just made people understand, okay, what am I going to get fucked by? So they continued to nerf him nonstop, more and more and more. And then I think the change I really disliked, any other change, I was like, okay, yeah, it hurts, but I could live with it. The one change I really disliked was they changed the armor pen to lethality, which at the end of the day, yes, it helps, but God, it's so much worse. It's like armor pen is percentage based, right? If you give me 15 armor pen, I'm pretty sure, now I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that 15 armor pen means 15% of your armor I ignore, which is good for an AD, no less, which is super good. Now, they changed that to lethality. If you give me 15 lethality, which I have to work for to get, by the way, late game, I'm ignoring 15 points of armor, not 15%. So if a tank has 300 armor, I'm ignoring 15 of that, so I'm basically dealing with 285. The difference between 285 and 300 is non-existent. So at that point, what's the lethality for squishies? At the end of the game, I mean, maybe it helps if you're fighting the AD or a squishy assassin that has very little armor, but it's like, yo, come on. I like Aphelios because he shreds tanks, but maybe he's not supposed to shred everyone. Maybe, you know, they want to keep that fantasy in line with Vayne and whatnot, but I was very saddened for that one change particularly. But anyway, going forward, so the main problem with Aphelios, right, is he did everything super well. Well, not everything, but I'm going to explain what he did. He came out. His autos hit like a fucking truck because of Infernum. They wave cleared because of Infernum. They had really good slow and root teamfight capabilities with Gravitum. They had great dueling 1v1 potential with Crescendum. They had amazing range with fucking the sniper. I don't know what it's called. And then when you pair them together, right, when you get the little combos, not only are your autos by themselves super good in a lot of situations, you then have things that are just borderline unbeatable and like kind of broken. Like I will be the first to agree, right? While I did like the Chakram sniper combo when it didn't have the auto attack speed cap, and you could do it super fucking quick, that was borderline broken. Like, that was ridiculous what you were able to do with that, and how fast you were able to kill with that because of the combo. So they nerfed it, which I'm sad to see it go because of how good it was, but it was fine. My main thing is, we haven't had the AD players a good ADC in so fucking long. So long. That, like, having Aphelios, to me, felt super fucking good. Because once you understood him, which honestly is not that complicated, and once you understood him, he was really fun to play because he was actually good. And while, yeah, he may have been a bit unfair, at a certain point, it goes from being unfair to just being, like, okay, excessive nerfs, which is what I feel like they're still doing. Literally, he's been nerfed at, like, every patch. It's insane. So, I like I said before, I do feel some things were a little ridiculous on him. The Chakram sniper combo was ridiculous. The fact that you could auto from any range once you put a mark on them with the sniper is ridiculous. Like, everyone I think knows the clip of the Jinx walking through the bush, and the Aphelios is in base, and the Aphelios left a Chakram sniper trap in the bush and killed the Jinx from over half the map away with like 3 autos, even though she was feeding her fucking brains out. But it's like, okay, that's a little crazy. But then they like nerfed the ulti range, they nerfed the ulti damage, they nerfed like the chakrams heavily. And I was just like, yo, you take away everything. I think the only thing they haven't nerfed is the fucking gravity gun, because it's the most lackluster. It's literally just utility slow route. Everything else provides you some sort of damage benefit, and the problem is Aphelios' abilities do a lot for you, and his autos do a lot for you, and his ulti used to clear the screen. So they basically took away everything but his very tiny PP utility. But the problem is his autos are still doing a shit ton of damage, and his abilities are still, you know, I don't agree with this, but his abilities are still like a little too powerful, apparently. Which, I mean, if you get it right, for a champion as complex as Aphelios, maybe it should be like that, but like I said, I don't think he's that complex. So you have to kind of balance, okay, how complicated and hard do we make a champion versus how much payoff do we think they should have? They touted Aphelios as like the hardest AD. Like, oh, he's so hard, but if you master him, he's so good. Like, you'll be so good with him, you'll be like a fucking god. Which wasn't the case, as with a lot of things Riot says. Riot said the same thing for Jhin. Riot imagined Jhin, for instance, being like this really powerful sniper character. They were like, oh yeah, you'll put your E down in a strategic location, you'll W them, chunk them with the E, and then ult them to kill them. No one does that. No one does that fantasy on Jhin. The fantasy on Jhin realistically is, I'm going to build a shit ton of AD, I'm going to walk up to you, I'm going to two-shot you. That's the fantasy on Jhin. That's the reality. So the reality on Aphelios is, okay, I'm just going to have a really good weapon combo that I don't need to think for. Use it, win. An auto. The thing I guess they wanted was, okay, I have to strategically like play with my weapons, find the right combo, and then actually work for it. No, there's no working involved. You just do it and win. It's pretty easy once you understand it and actually do it. It's not hard to pull off. Like, it's really not. And I think that's the problem. They made him super OP because they thought like it would require a lot of skill. And I don't think that's the case at all. So what are they doing? Obviously they're nerfing him, I know that, but what are they doing? His base attack damage growth decreased, great. Q Chakram reset removed for epic monsters. That's okay, that's understandable. Turret range indicators no longer visible in spectator, okay, that's fine. Our follow-up attacks critical damage decreased, wow. Aphelios has not waned with the moons, yeah, I guess not, even though he has. Instead, he's been a persistent star in professional play, which is the only thing they balance around for the most part. We're toning down his overwhelming strength and objective control. I actually agree with that. They are doing that. And his formidable contributions to fight from a safe distance, which is supposed to be one of his fantasies, but whatever. So the attack growth is going down by 0.2. That pretty much means nothing because he gains AD anyway. It hurts him a little bit, but not anything serious. Chakra reset. I think this is the biggest thing. So hopefully, I see this purely as like an LCS level change, because it really didn't matter unless you were in the highest level of play in like solo queue or something. This really doesn't matter. Like, what the fuck is this ad? Ew. So this really doesn't matter. I mean, it's really good because maybe Aphelios players would stack chakrams on the dragon, and not only would the duration refresh, but you could get more chakrams off the dragon with like the sniper chakram combo probably, and then team fight and then already be stacked up and kind of have an advantage. This is fine. I mean, again, this is mostly for LCS. That's fine. And then Moonlight Vigil. So his ulti, I think, is already a little on the weaker side because of the range. I think they should honestly give the range back and nerf the damage, which is fine to me. I don't think his ulti should be nuking people. It should be more to like either guarantee a kill or like set up stuff with the gravity gun. Like, his ult has to be very niche, and it is for the gun he has for the most part. Like, I think his ulti is probably like one of the really good design parts about him. You use the pistol, right? Severum, the lifesteal pistol. Use the ulti, you heal based on how many people you hit. And the heal is pretty fucking good. The sniper one is probably, okay, you just want to finish someone off and, like, get extra damage in. Because it gives you basically 2 free autos. The fire one is situational. Are they grouped up? Yes, use fire. And then the fucking gravity gun one is obviously for if you want to set the team fight. But I agree that it shouldn't have too much damage because you are getting a free auto off. So I think this is fine. I just think they need to return the range. Overall, these nerfs aren't as bad as I thought they'd be. But it's like, goddamn, they're just gonna keep doing it. They're just gonna keep fucking nerfing him. So I mean, we'll see what happens next. But I still think he's in an okay spot. I mean, is he the best AD? No. Is he up there? Probably. For LCS, definitely. But I hope he still like is fun and playable, which he still is after this. But we'll see how long they want that. Wow, I can't believe I spent 15 fucking minutes on that shit. Okay, anyway, Cassio. MR decreased. I don't think Cassio is, like, too good, but I definitely think she's above there. So making her weaker to mages is pretty good because I feel like she kind of dominates if she's good. Like, the only person I think she might have trouble with is, like, Talon, maybe Kassadin, maybe. But it's, like, generally she pretty much wins if she's a good player, and making her weaker to mages kind of is good for early game. Because early game should be her hardest part. After that, she just ramps up so fast. So this is fine. Okay, Gnar. So I have some opinions on Gnar. They kept buffing him, right? And I didn't play him. So I was recently like, you know what? Let me play Gnar. Let me try it out, right? I tried it out, and God, did I have not a good time. I felt so shitty. Now, the ulti cooldown thing I thought was, like, really, really OP at a point that they did in the past. They made it, like, what, 20 seconds or some bullshit? And maybe it's because I only played that one game with Gnar, and I didn't even play it for, like, a long time. I didn't get to late game. But, like, goddamn. All that means is, like, every time you go Mega, you have the ulti. But it's, like, I thought he was, like, pretty bad, and I was surprised. I was like, wait, I feel like I'm doing fucking nothing. So, I know he's going to get buffed. There's no way they nerf him. Because he's so bad, and I was the only one who used him that I've seen, and I did not want to use him again. So what are they doing? They're nudging Mini Gnar in the right direction, which I feel is the weaker part. I feel like Mega Gnar is fine. We think his attack speed is safe level to... Okay. So his attack speed is going from... Wow, they're doubling it early. That's actually insanely fucking good. Like... You max, I think the E last on all. You max QWE. So having it be doubled level 1 early is like insanely fucking good. 20 to 40 is so fucking good. I think he actually might see play now. If not in regular play, at least maybe in professional. That buff is like not something to ignore. And then attack speed goes from 3 to 4 seconds, which is also pretty fucking good. I actually didn't even know that Gnar's little jump gave him fucking attack speed. I did not know this. And I found it out after reading his kit again. I was like, holy shit, it gives him attack speed. But usually people don't really go in with the E unless you're guaranteed to win the exchange or you're going big Gnar. So, very interesting. Okay, Kalista. So, I think Kalista is one of the worst suck-ass ADs. I think not only... do you need to be very good mechanically and knowledge-based to play her, you also need to have a good support to play her. And even then, she's not a good AD. She, in my opinion, scales okay into the late game. A lot of ADs just outclass her, unless you're super fucking good at Kalista. And then you just do less damage, and your damage, I guess the main thing always was, and I'll always say this to me, like, for me, for Kalista, it's just like, the fantasy is fun of, wow, I could do infinite damage with my spears. But the problem is it's delayed. And your autos don't do that much in general on Kalista. Because you automatically do 90% of your damage, which is like, okay, wow. Like, what the fuck? Like, early to mid game, she's a monster. Yeah. But late game, it's like, ugh. I don't know. I mean, she's not bad. I kind of treat her like Lucian. Lucian is not bad late game. But there's a lot of stuff better than him. Same thing with Kalista. And the main problem is late game, once you get into things where you need things to die quickly, things need to start dying almost immediately. But like, well, not almost immediately, but pretty fucking quickly. And it's like, for Kalista to do that, you need to just start autoing them for like 5 whole ass minutes and then pull the spears out and then kill them. And it's like, okay. So I think Kalista's pretty fucking bad, but she's used in LCS again, so maybe they have something, they know something I don't. But I've noticed a trend. There's certain champions that I think are just complete utter dog shit. That like, I feel like when they're played, they almost always result in a fucking loss. And the 2 champions I can name off my head, off the dome, that automatically end up like that are Kalista and Nidalee. I feel like those 2 champions are some of the most useless fucking champions in this game. Nidalee more so. I think I'd rather have a Kalista than a Nidalee, honestly. God, Nidalee is so fucking bad. But yeah, Kalista I think is pretty actually in the dirt. Maybe people in LCS play because the games are decided so early anyway. But even then, I feel like most of the time Kalista just loses. So anyway, they don't like her being good in pro play. Surprise. And then they're nerfing her attack growth by 0.5. Which I would say isn't really much, but on Kalista it is. Because number one, she doesn't really do a lot of auto damage in the first place because of the 90% on her passive. And now they're just lessening that even more. Which, I mean, if they think she's a problem, this definitely helps. But it's like, I think it doesn't. I think it's just wrong. So, I think she needs buffs. No one plays her in, like, regular play. So, anyway. Kog'Maw, yes. What do I think of Kog'Maw? I think Kog'Maw is pretty decent. Kog'Maw used to hold this fantasy, right? And whether or not it was true can be debated, and I'll kind of touch on that. But Kog'Maw used to hold this fantasy of like, oh, if you get late game on Kog'Maw, you basically win. Like, he's a really good late game carry. And the truth of the matter is, he is. He is a really good late game carry, don't get me wrong. But he's not the best. I still think one of the best, if not the best, is probably Vayne. Vayne will shred someone faster than a Kog'Maw can in most situations. There's certain situations where Kog'Maw does do more. But in more situations, I feel like the Vayne will just shred faster. She gains so much more damage, builds inherently differently, and then the true damage is insane. But, I think Kog'Maw's still pretty okay. I would like to see buffs to him. I definitely think he needs them. Like, the thing is, when I play Kog'Maw, if I'm not fed, I don't really feel like I'm doing much, and then I have to get to a certain point to where, like, I actually start doing things. Where, like, as other ADs, I feel like I could get away with some stuff early. Which on Kog'Maw you can, but your support has to be Lulu or Janna or something. It's very niche. But, I feel Kog'Maw could definitely use some buffs. I feel like he's not in a bad spot per se. But if you're not a Kog'Maw player, you're not playing Kog'Maw. He's not that good. He has a very interesting style. I don't know. You basically farm, I would say, longer than other ADs until you hit your fantasy of I start shredding things. And then if you start shredding things and you're not stopped, you will ramp up. He's kind of like a hyper carry in that sense. He's like, if Jinx gets fed, she starts insta carrying. If Kog'Maw gets fed, insta carry. Vayne, insta carry. Xayah, Kai'Sa, kind of. So, I definitely think he could use some buffs, because he doesn't feel like the fucking giga carry they wanted him to be. Their own words, too. So, what are they doing? Although his standard build has been doing well, yeah, I guess. AP Kog'Maw, okay. Why? Why are they doing this? I know why they're doing this, actually. I'll get back to it at the end. It has to do with the next set of skins, though. AP Kog'Maw hasn't been oozing much confidence, as he shouldn't be. I hate AP Kog'Maw. We're bringing some enzymatic excitement for players to experiment with alternate builds around his AP. So, the damage ratio is going from 0.5 to 0.7 on his Q, and his ult is going to 0.25 to 0.35. Does this help AP Kog'Maw? Yes. Is AP Kog'Maw good? No. I fucking hate AP Kog'Maw. It feels like, I don't know. It feels like a very outdated champion if you like go AP on him. Cuz it's like at some points if you're certain characters, it feels just unfair. The main ability you use for Kog'Maw AP is E. You spam E, and it's kind of like a little troll fucking haha fuck you pick. Where it's like, ha, I'm gonna spam this like very easy to hit chunking ability and not do a lot after that unless you're really good at hitting the R and they're low. I don't know. I think Kog'Maw, like AP, is not like updated for current league, and if he gets so popular and good, Riot won't like how he plays and will change him. I'm almost positive of that because his gameplay does not feel good to play against and kind of feels weird to play as, which is why not many people play him unless you're into that sort of sick thing, but who the fuck knows? So I mean, I don't want them to buff AP Kog'Maw. Does it need buffs? Technically, yes, but I don't think it's good for the game. And I think they could have buffed his AD, because like I said, ADs are pretty fucking wiener, but whatever. Lucian, kind of similar, touching on what I said with Kalista. He's good early mid. He kind of falls off late. Not as hard as Kalista, but I think the main thing they should just do, and I don't know why they haven't, honestly, is just make Lucian's range 525 at least, or 550. He has 500 range, and because of that, he literally suffers so hard, and there's no reason for it. Anyway, even with the specific marksman buffs he received earlier, Lucian's been in a weak spot in bot lane. Yeah, because the marksman buffs did nothing. Mainly due to the fact that he's often outranged by his enemies. Wow! It's not just like I said that! Buffing his ability range, yes, because that's the problem he has. The ability range so that he can dash back to the Path of Vengeance. I mean, the Q buff to 1,000 is good. Does it change anything? Absolutely fucking not. This does nothing. Nocturne. What do I think of Nocturne? Pretty decent jungle pick. Not that good. Not that bad. But if I had to pick, probably on the better side of things. Because if you're a good Nocturne, you do pretty well. You scale pretty good into the late game, I would say. And your ulti is also very nice. But I honestly don't know. I don't know on the state of Nocturne. They could buff him, they could nerf him. I could see them going either way. I wonder what they're gonna do. Who the fuck is that? Bug fix on Umbra Blade's cooldowns. Passive now always procs against monsters. It didn't used to proc against monsters? What? Interesting. I honestly forget like most of Nocturne's kit sometimes, but I mean this is fine. Basic attacks against enemy champions reduce Umbral Blade's cooldown by 2 seconds. That's good. Oh no, they're changing that. Basic attacks against enemy champions and monsters reduced Umbral Blades by 2 seconds. Oh, so that's just like a buff, I guess. I think that's a pretty good buff. Yeah, I mean, that's good. I could see them, like I said, going either way for Nocturne. That's fine. So, Nunu. So, what do I think of Nunu? I think Nunu is on the weaker side, which I'll bring this up again. I say a lot of things over and over again in these patch note videos because they're true until something changes. So, I don't know how. Like, theoretically, Nunu should be better from, like, his rework. But I feel like he got, like, either worse, which I don't see how, because he got more things to his kit that just help him, or maybe he became more unpopular. I feel like the new Nunu isn't as good as the old one, and maybe it has to do with the E, honestly. I found, like, Nunu's E and Fiddlestick's E, both champions that have been, touched up and redone, have been lackluster when their old E's have been a lot more powerful. Fiddle's old E, the Scarecrow, is like just, I think, hands down better than the new one. It did more damage, and I liked it better. The old Nunu E, the Snowball, did more damage, was a lot more satisfying, and was just hands down better. The new E, yeah, it has the root now, which is nice, but I feel like it doesn't do as much damage, and it's harder to pull off, similar with the new Fiddle E. It doesn't do as much damage, it's harder to pull off. It's like, I think if you reverted both those characters' E's back to what they were, I think that'd actually be a lot better. But regardless, Nunu covers the niche of being sort of like a pretty strongly encouraged counter jungler, right? Like when you play Nunu, you're encouraged to counter jungle, and you basically contest like Dragon and Baron pretty easily. Like that's your role. So, what are they saying? I think he needs buffs. Like I think he's super fucking bad. But let's see. Just like with Kog'Maw, we're throwing the boy and his Yeti some ability power. Okay, now see, this I can agree with. The way to adventure. Willump noise is cool. So his Q, they're doing 0.65 and then 0.9. That's actually pretty fucking good. Especially the healing ratio. The healing ratio is super big. And if when you go like troll AP Nunu, which we saw a lot of with the old one, not as much with this new one, it's like that heal is insane sometimes. It's actually super fucking big. So the fact that they're buffing that is really nice, I would say, for AP Nunu and regular Nunu too, because you do build some AP, hopefully. And then the damage ratio kind of means nothing on the Q, which is fine. And the R's shield ratio looks like it got buffed to have ability power scaling, which is nice. So I kind of feel like these are more quality of life things. They don't necessarily make AP Nunu a lot better. They give him some damage, yes, but not enough to, I think, matter. The biggest thing, I think, is the heal and the ult shield ratio on AP now, which is pretty good. Will this make Nunu good? No. Will it make AP Nunu more fun? Yeah, I think it will. Pretty good. Ornn. I can't believe they're touching Ornn. That's kind of crazy. I mean, we see him non-stop in pro play, even though he kind of gets shit on now. Like, it's not, okay, you pick Ornn, you do super good. You pick Ornn to, like, kind of have a base on it. I see it as Malzahar, in a way. Ornn is, like, for LCS, the stupid man's, like, top laner. When someone's doing bad in LCS, they get put on Malzahar duty, quote-unquote. Because Malzahar duty is super easy, and you're super useful. But it's super easy to counter. Ornn, I feel, is kind of going in a similar vein. Ornn is super easy. Okay, maybe less easy than Malzahar, but Ornn is generally easy. You don't really down him that much unless you're getting, like, camped the fuck out of. You set up team fights, and you help your team just by even existing at the end of the day, because of the items. So I think he's actually in a decent spot. I'd be surprised if they nerf him, like, hard. Maybe tiny nerfs, but I'd be surprised for hard nerfs. What are they doing? Percentage health and mana items now retain previous health and mana percentages. What does that mean? We'd like to make Ornn less of an easy blind pick in pro. Like I just said, he's the easy man's top laner. So we're knocking down his early item sustain. What does that mean? Health and mana items built in the field provide 100% of their health and mana. Oh! Wow! No way. That's crazy. That's actually insane. That was actually super good on Ornn, right? When you would be in lane, you would build like health and mana items, and you would gain the health and mana right there as if you were in base. So let's say I build the mana crystal, I would get that mana crystal mana added onto my mana and gain it as well. I would, in essence, be creating my own mana. And now they got rid of that. That's actually a huge fucking nerf. That impacts his lane survivability so much. Half of Ornn's lane survivability, yeah, is getting the armor and MR without backing, but a huge part of it early, I would say probably more than half, actually, is getting the health and mana, just stats, that would, like, kind of heal you and refill your mana. That's actually insane that they're doing that. That's a huge fucking nerf. Huge nerf. I think Ornn is still good, though, but wow, his early game is a lot, like, more worse. That's insane. So, Rakan. What do I think of Rakan? Rakan sucks fucking cock. He's in an okay spot. I think they definitely need to buff him because he used to be a really fucking good support, and then they just neutered his W, and then they kind of helped it back up, but they kind of just neutered everything about him. He was super good, super fun. Then they nerfed him, and when he's not super good, he's not super fun. So it's like they kind of fucked him. So what are they doing? W base damage increased later. Okay, this does nothing. With a W that packs a bit more punch, Rakan can use this to play a bit more aggressive. No one uses the W for damage. No one does that. They use it for an engage, and that's it. Like, are you stupid, Riot? This does fucking nothing, and this has no relevance. Okay. Rise. Rise is not used. Rise is bad. I'm waiting for the next rework. What are they doing? MR is up, which is good. Base AD is up, which is good. This does nothing. Syndra. So, like I've been saying, they've been buffing Syndra a lot. They kind of want to get her near the power fantasy of Season 4, where she was like a fucking terror in the mid lane, but don't want her to be the terror. So they're trying to get her as close as possible. And I think they're starting to succeed. I'm seeing a lot more Syndra lately. So what are they doing? They're increasing the Q cost. I think that's fine. I don't think you should change her damage. I think you should change either how hard it is to pull it off or how often she can do it. So either cooldown or cost nerfing is fine. Just don't change the damage on her. I think she's actually in a good spot with that. So this is fine. And look, they even say here, the power is still hers to command. That's really good. Vi. Vi's a pretty decent jungler. Probably a little lackluster right now. I think she's in an okay spot. I mean, I think she's fun. Will I play her? No. But I don't generally play jungle. If a lot of people of mine got banned, would I play her? Maybe. I mean, it's either you like make her work or you don't. If you land her shit, it's good. If you don't land her shit, it's bad. I think she's kind of like a worse Lee Sin in a way, right? So, Lee Sin and Vi, to me, share a lot of similarities. Their main engage tool is the Q. Well, before 6 at least with Vi. Vi can engage with ult too. But their main engage tool is the Q. They miss that, they kind of caught with their pants down. I think they're both brawlers in the sense that they kind of want to fight early and mid, and they're pretty decent at it. And they hit pretty hard. They don't scale as well into the late game, but I feel like they both have their niches with their ults. Late game, they're both useful because they're ults. I would say Vi more so because of her Q at that point too. And they set up stuff. Lee Sin probably has the potential to set up more with his ulti, but it's harder to do. Vi has probably less potential because she doesn't like displace someone, she locks them down, but it's more guaranteed in a way. And I feel like I would like Vi more. Like if I had to choose playing between Vi and Lee Sin, I would probably almost always choose Vi. I think Vi's just better than Lee Sin. I hate Lee Sin, but I don't think she's that good. I think she is one of the weaker brawlers. Like, if you see Olaf will beat your fucking ass. Graves kite you and beat your ass. So she's like a weak brawler where she used to be strong before all this shit fucking came up. Like Olaf and Graves and Ching Ching. But anyway, what are they doing? They have to buff her. There's no way they're nerfing her. Vi has been struggling to keep up with other junglers. Like I just said, she's weak against the brawlers. And she's a brawler. So we're punching up her punch. Nice. We enforce her position as a mobile disruptor. Really? So they're not buffing her damage, which I think needs to kind of get tossed up a little bit. They're buffing the cooldown of the Q later to 6 seconds. That's actually really good. 8 to 6 seconds. And then with cooldown on top of that, that's probably going to be like 4, maybe 3 seconds. Well, no, that's half at that point. Yeah, probably like around 4 seconds if you get max cooldown, which is really, really good. Makes you very mobile. So the change they wanted, making her a better mobile disruptor, actually went through. That's the second change I think they nailed it on. That's pretty good. Yorick. Oh mama, what do I think of Yorick? I played against Yorick and I played as Yorick because I've been playing a lot of top lane. He's actually, I think, in a very decent spot. The Maiden makes him super fucking strong. Like, I played Darius against him and he kind of fucked me, and I was surprised. Like, he didn't fuck me too hard, and I honestly got away with a lot of shit because the player who was playing Yorick at the time fucked up. But Yorick himself felt super fucking good. And then I played him, and I felt super fucking good, and I got fed. Is it OP? No. Is it strong or bordering on strong? I would say yes. I would say Yorick's in a super fucking good spot right now, honestly. And maybe people don't know it, and that's good. I don't want him to get nerfed. I like him. And not many people play him either, so it's fun. So, what are they doing? Our range for the Maiden of the Mist leash decreased. What does that mean exactly? Make it so the Maiden leashes more responsively when Yorick exits a fight. That's super good. We suspect this will be a small amount of power that skews towards the upper echelons of play where Yorick is currently weak. I agree. I think Maiden is one of the things that defines a good or bad Yorick, right? So, like, I saw the Yorick player do to me when I was Darius kind of enlightened me in a way. He had the maiden up and he protected it. He didn't force it to go to tower and, like, kill it. He actually, like, made it so it played back, and then when he was ready to fight, it would go in with him. And it would basically always win him the fight. The maiden does insane damage, and then on top of the ghoulies and the percentage health it gives, it's actually so fucking good. I would argue it's having, like, a fucking mini support in the lane with you. Because, like, if you're ranged, you can kind of deal with it, but Yorick might fuck with you. If you're melee, you have to pray to God he sends that thing to turret, or you focus it. But if you focus it, he focuses you and you lose. There's almost no situation that, like, I see in my mind where, like, Yorick and the maiden lose unless he's getting ganked or just severely misplays it. It's like the maiden is such a huge domineering force, and a good Yorick will keep it alive in the lane for a long time. And it's very oppressive. Like, I was surprised how much, like, the maiden made me scared of Yorick. I was like, holy shit. Not only is it like a force to be reckoned with, it's staying. It's staying here. It's like a fucking second laner. I was blowing my load. I was like, holy shit, this is so good. And the fact that they're making it easier now to, like, keep it near you and control it is super good. I think this is a super good buff for Yorick, actually. I think Yorick is probably a strong top laner, and not many people know it. Yumi. So Yumi is fucking a problem again, I think. A lot of people don't like her, and she's being picked in pro play. I think she's a little harder to play because early game she has, like, fucking mana problems, which you don't play Yumi for the early, let's be honest. You play her because how she buffs her team late and how much power she gives. But I think she's still pretty good. Her late game and mid game are insane for what she provides to the team. Especially the healing. The healing is insane, which I think I see the icon for in the corner of my eye here, so I know they're going to nerf it. I think she's going to get nerfed again. We have nothing but love for felines here. Oh boy, here we go. That's how you know they're nerfing her. Hopefully it's not bad. I actually want to play Yumi more. This cat's E costs are currently too easily solved with systematic mana increases. Well, yeah, that's the point. We're afraid this chapter needs to be shut. So the cost is... Wow. So they're technically kind of... But wait. I'm trying to calculate this in my head. So, I don't know how much mana Yumi has, but let's say it's low. Let's say, like, early, it's 500, just to work with easy numbers. So before, if you had 500 mana early, to use the E, it would cost 1/5. Now, it costs 40, which is significantly less, but 15% of your max mana. So you can't necessarily spam it as much, I think, what they're trying to do. I don't know if this works out to be a good change, though. I don't know if this solves what they need. Because you gain a shit ton of mana from the passive, which I would argue is easier to proc later than earlier. Because earlier, you're like, it's a 2v2, and the enemy looks out for you when you unattach from your ally. Later in the game, there's so much shit going on, you're kind of, like, in a safety net. Yeah, you could be killed a lot more easy, but it's kind of harder because there's a lot of shit going on, and you can weave in and out, like, more stealthily, in my opinion. Like, in late game Yumi. So, I don't know, like... And you get a shit ton of mana regen items anyway, just by the nature of the characters' items you build. You know, Athene's, Ardent. It's like, those give so much mana regen, it's insane. I don't know if this solves the problem. I think the bigger problem is the items, honestly. But maybe this cuts her down a little bit more, where she has to wait to use it, or runs out faster. I don't know, this is interesting. I feel like late game, the Q, you're only using it for a slow. The damage at that point doesn't really matter. The W is the W. The ulti is kind of whatever. The main thing is the E and the W. The W for how much damage it provides, and the E for the heal, attack speed, move speed. The main drawing point to Yumi late game is the WE, more the E because it's, like, active. The W is just passively always on. It's the E that, like, makes Yumi good for people late game. And they're trying to nerf that, which is interesting. I think it does make sense, though. I think Yumi is a little ridiculous with how much she buffs someone. But she is a champion that's mainly just used for that role, so it's interesting. I think this... We'll see how this plays out. I might play Yumi. I probably won't, but we'll see. Conqueror. I think Conqueror is interesting. It fills the role of Fervor. I don't know if anyone's even old enough or even will watch this to know the old runes, but there was an old rune called Fervor of Battle. And it was one of my favorite things. And now Conqueror is kind of like the pseudo-improved version of that, but it doesn't feel like it is. And they're nerfing it. So what are they doing? A keystone players gravitate to for elongated fights for utility and healing and DPS. Yes. That being said, we've been seeing the rune bleed into other archetypes and overrule peers like Electrocute. Well, yes. As a result, we want to fine-tune the range in a modest way where it maintained its intended strengths. So they're shaving off power. So you need more stacks now. And it gives you a little less, but that probably evens out to around the same damage because you get more stacks of it. What do I think of this? Let me actually do the math on this one. So 4.2 times 18, 75 damage. You could get essentially an IE's worth of damage and you start healing off of it. And then with the old one, you get 5 times 18. No. I did that so wrong. 4.2 times 12. 50. Okay, you get 50 damage, which is like a BF sword, kind of. And then 5 times 10 is 50. Yeah, you get basically the same amount. But it takes longer to do. Indirectly, I mean, this is a nerf to everyone, but it's a harder nerf for ranged Conqueror users. Melee Conqueror users get 2 stacks per. Ranged gets 1 stack per, I believe. So ranged is going to have a long-ass time building this up. So, hard nerf for ranged, medium nerf for melee. I do agree, though, maybe you do get it up too fast for melees, but, I mean, we'll see how this goes. I think this is fine. I do kind of agree, like, Conqueror you usually take in most instances, probably even over Electrocute. But then the question is Conqueror too strong or is Electrocute too weak? I would argue Electrocute's kind of weak, but that's just me. So, Guardian. Apparently it's overperforming because of its buff, and they're not taking away... Wait. Okay, yeah. They're not taking away the range buff, they're taking away the value, which is fine. I'm fine with that. So, Death's Dance. Another thing that is really good. Apparently for ranged people, so they're nerfing it on ranged people. I think for melees, this item got, like, super buffed, and it's basically a staple of, like, brawlers and top laners now. Like, you need to buy Death's Dance, and it's so good. I feel like Aatrox got, like, kind of buffed by this indirectly. It's a really good item. Super good. And it gives cooldown, armor, MR, damage reduction, kind of with the dot over time. You heal a lot. It gives so much. Death's Dance is insane. And champ select reporting and muting. So basically what you have to know for this, as far as I could tell, because I read this before, is they're not really doing anything with you reporting anyone in champ select. So the biggest thing is you can mute them, yeah. The reporting doesn't do anything aside from giving them data. So will they use the reporting from champ select to do anything? As far as right now, no, but they're seeing how they could use it, I guess. So, whatever. Basically, that means it's kind of useless, but the more we use it, the better it'll be, hopefully. Bug fixes, I don't give a shit. Wow, there's a lot. Wait, I saw Yorick here. What is Yorick's? Yorick's and Mistwalkers are properly activate mana. What? They couldn't do that before? Now they can? That's insane. That's so good. That's so good. Princess Razed Blade will not trigger the attack when the holder's basic attack is blocked or destroyed. Wow, that's big. That's a big nerf. And then the skins and chromas I said are fine. Okay, so that's basically the patch. Oh, I forgot. They're also updating the Doctor skins. So they're updating Nurse Akali, Kennen MD, and Surgeon Shen with cool-looking new effects as well as chromas. So that's very nice. Very nice indeed. Now, overall, I'd rate this patch probably a 6 out of 10. Pretty weak patch. They nerfed the Felios, which I don't like, and not much else happened. They hit 2 things on the head pretty well. Like, what they wanted to do and what they actually did, 2 of those things were spot on. Everything else may have been, like, good or bad, but it was like, whatever, I didn't really care. 6 out of 10 on this patch. Now, Let me tell you, I mentioned it before and I didn't forget. Let me tell you why they're buffing Kog'Maw. Let me show you guys this. So, this is why they're buffing Kog'Maw. We have new skins coming next patch, and I'll talk about this more probably. I'll touch up on it next patch note video, but this is why they're doing it. They have new Infernal skins for Vel'Koz, Karthus, and Kennen, which are good. Conquer, Nautilus, fine. And then they have the Arcanist skins. Yes, the Arcanist skin line is coming back. So we have Zoe, which means we're getting tokens the next patch in 2 weeks. So we have no tokens for 2 weeks, which is saddening. But we have Zoe with the Prestige skin, Kog'Maw, and Shaco. I'm so fucking sad. I'm so fucking sad for this Kog'Maw skin. Look at this shit. Okay, this is Zoe. Oh boy, yeah, look at Zoe. Ooh. I mean, it's a nice skin, don't get me wrong. I like this Zoe skin. Zoe skin's nice. There's gonna be a lot of pictures of that. And then we have this fucking abomination. Like, the main problem I have with this skin is it's not a legendary for one. If this was a legendary, even then I'd kind of be a little angry, which I'll get into why, but it's not a legendary. It's probably a 1350. I'll be surprised if this shit's a legendary, but it's a 1350. It's kind of shit. Like, I don't think it's that good. And look at the effects. Ready? Oh boy, yeah, look at those. That's the E. Blue, blue, purple, blue, purple, blue, purple, okay. This almost looks identical in effects to Hextech, which I'm super fucking pissed about. Like, I think this Kog'Maw skin looks absolute fucking asshole. Look at this shit. This thing looks asshole, dude. I hate this. Fuck this skin. But that's why they're buffing AP Kog'Maw. Oh, look. Arcanist Kog'Maw. He must be a mage. Let's play a mage. Fucking stupid. Hate this shit. Hate that skin. I wanted a legendary Kog'Maw skin, and instead, I got that. I got that garbage. Fucking disgusting. Disgusting. By the way, yeah, that's it. 6 out of 10 Marc Merrills. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next patch.